is very tricky because a lot of people now, and I'm not going to say I haven't made content on it before, but it's like, they're like, Rahu fame, Rahu Dasha recognition. This is why I always say that the whole chart matters. Like, you can't take a shadow and then tell everyone that the shadow is going to do the same thing. No. Because it's very much up to you and what you've been doing with your own shadow. Rahu and Ketu, they are shadow planets. So they're going to cause issues in the in the houses that they're in. If they're by themselves, especially without any graha support, the nodes are just kind of like, what the heck? With graha support, graha is planet or great body, okay? So with the support of a graha, we can change the result. That something material might come out of this Rahu, right? I'm not saying it won't for other people. Everyone has a life. We're all material beings, but you'll see it more literally with people who have, like, let's say, Sun conjunct Rahu. A lot of famous people have it. Okay, it's like, it's a great placement for fame and recognition. I have so many charts swirling in my head, like New Jeans, Danielle has Rahu conjunct Sun in Sidereal Pisces. Chewan from Les Seraphim has Rahu conjunct Sun in Sidereal Cancer. Oh my God, not me naming K-pop groups. Charlie D'Amelio, Rahu conjunct Sun. Keith Lee, Rahu conjunct Sun. Doja Cat, Rahu conjunct Sun. Like, that's a real thing. Like, fame can come in recognition because it's going to heighten that, your ability to do it. Because your psyche is almost aligned with it, with that greatness. Because Rahu, Ketu have a lot to do with the psyche. Anyway, this video is about, the truth about Rahu, okay? How are you going to function with this illusion? You have to learn when you are in a false predicament. That's why you have to, like, when you're experiencing something and you're aware of Rahu, the chart, and you're so bothered, especially if you have Rahu impacting the moon, trine, Rahu nakshatra, Adara, Swati, Shatabishak, you're gonna have these moments where your mind is playing tricks on you. For your whole life, you're gonna be like, you're gonna have so much, darkness and like almost resentment sometimes. And then one day you're gonna sit there and look at the reality of the situation. And it's nothing like what the illusion was presenting itself to be to you. Because when you think about everything in the grand scheme of things, and you recognize everybody has trauma, everybody has issues, it doesn't make yours less, or it doesn't mean yours doesn't matter. But Rahu will get overexcited and sensationalized thing. It's almost like a chronic thing you're dealing with in your mind. It could be trauma related, anything. And then you realize, let me tell a personal story. Growing up, I was very impressionable. I would see people do things and I would be like, oh my God, let me try it, let me do it. And my mom would always be like, you don't have to do that. Like, that doesn't fit you, that doesn't suit you, that's not your behaviors. But I'm looking at everyone else doing it and I'm like, they're having a great time. Like, I'm gonna smoke some weed, I'm gonna do some drugs, like I'm gonna go crazy, like I'm gonna do it. And that didn't go well with me at all. I had adverse effects, okay? Because you're deceived by this illusion. It depends on sign too, and house and everything. I have Rahu in Libra. So I'm seeing other people, they're doing it, they're getting away with it, they're fine. They're eating as much as they want, they're not gaining any weight. They're doing all these drugs, they're not having any issues that I'm aware of or that I'm seeing. They're in relationships, they're operating normally. But that's the illusion. My Rahu in Libra has fooled me into thinking that I need to do something else, to be something else in order to relate and understand. Now, I've learned a lot of lessons. That's the benefit. But I harmed myself in the process. Because I was like, oh, everybody else is drinking and, smoking and partying and things like that. And what did I do? Nothing happened to me. Like, nothing. It just had adverse effects. I started getting psychosis from smoking weed all the time. I started like experiencing, alcohol symptoms that I didn't like. And I have Rahu and Libra. It's creating a shadow with how I'm seeing other people doing things. So stick to what's beneficial. Stick to your integrity and what's going to bring you life and gain and wisdom and strength. That's what you stick to. Rahu energy will trick you into thinking that you need to be doing this when you need to be doing the opposite. Like, then you look down years down the road, you're like, dang, I really should have been doing the opposite. And then your whole life, you're feeling outcasted. Your whole life, you're like, wow, like, I feel so different, blah, blah. And it's true. You have a different way of thinking, a different way of operating, a different way of like, people just look at you differently. And that's the reality. Okay, there you go. That's the reality if you're Rahuvian. They're looking at you differently. You are different. You have something different to offer. However, it's not your responsibility to try to appeal to those people. You're supposed to appeal to something else, something greater, doing something else. Because it'll outcast you to make you focus on what it is you truly desire. Because Rahu's obsessive. And that's what's going to bring innovation. And Rahu's a risk taker. It's Vayu Tattva. It's air. It's here, it's there, and it doesn't let things bother it. It goes through some, Rahuvian influence can make you go through some psychological issues. Because I'm telling you, it's all illusion. You're not in real danger. You're fine. I mean, analyze your situation as you will. But half the time with Rahuvian influence, it creates a strong intuition, but an overactive mind, especially if it's on the moon. If it's on the sun, it creates an overactive personality. That's why they are able to attract, that fame and that glory. But if it's with the moon's very sensitive. And the moon likes comfort. So then you start doing some weird stuff to comfort yourself when you don't really need to do that. But I'm glad I don't regret anything. Don't have any regrets, but don't confuse Rahu with just this great thing. Rahu's a malefic. Okay, but malefics bring about change and growth and higher wisdom and seeing things from a different view because you went through the trenches to experience it. Your mind took you through the trenches to go ahead and experience that. So that way now, once you awaken, maybe you just stumble upon this video, you start to see that Rahu gave you these intense, innovative changes. And I have a video series. I'm going to talk about the Nakshatra or Rahu that I'm working on. But I wanted to tell you all that Rahu, the results of your Rahu are going to be manifested. The way to appease your Rahu actually can be manifested from the Lord of the Rahu. Because that Lord is a Graha, right? That's real. You can look in the sky and go see that Graha. You know what I'm saying? You can go see that planet from a telescope if you want to. Don't let Rahu overwhelm you. When you're feeling overwhelmed, do breathing exercises. Each nakshatra of Rahu might need to do something different, but because Rahu's Vayu Tattva, breathing exercises. You feel yourself getting upset about something you can't control or something that makes you turn into a dark and closed off person. Breathing exercises, because guess what, once you keep creating these walls, life's gonna keep pushing you down to break through them. So you gotta get uncomfortable, you gotta embrace your uniqueness, because that's what Rahu represents. Anything foreign, different, viral. Rahuvians grow up and they'll like a different culture, or they'll like a different way of seeing things, different imagination. People are gonna think they're weird, but then through that isolation, because Rahu's a rebel, I'm gonna talk about this later in a different video, you can start to, gain power. But when you do anything shady with Rahu energy, it comes back to bite you. There's always gonna be scandal. There's always gonna be scandal if you do anything shady or not. Because people will get offended that you're so comfortable being weird and that your weirdness is getting you something. Doesn't matter how many tutorials you watch on TikTok on how to blow and grow up your following. Your following depends on your uniqueness and your chart and your karma. So anyway, that's a different topic as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this and found this useful. I'm gonna try to post more in here so that you guys can get a little simple blurbs. And yeah.